What is going on, guys? So today I'm finally doing a very much anticipated and requested video that I wasn't on board with doing for the longest time. I'm going to be doing a versus battle, Ace versus Cracker. And the reason that for the longest time I just completely did not want to do this video, I thought there was no point, is that I thought that Ace was a very weak character overall. He was not much stronger than Tashigi, perhaps, are claims that I have made in the past, and I was being serious when I made these claims. But if you see my recent video, it was, I believe, 2 videos ago, it was about Ace, and I had a discussion with some of my Discord members, then it was all about them trying to convince me that he is a lot stronger than I personally believed at the time. And most people don't realize this based on the comments, but it's a long video, and at the end, I actually am convinced he is a lot stronger than I had originally anticipated. So, yes, that did happen. That is something that really did happen, and especially the biggest reason that I was so hard on the idea that Ace is probably not that strong is because of the thing that happened in Alabasta, where Ace basically said that he could not defeat Smoker, and some people liked that point I made. Most people hated that point I made. But that doesn't matter anymore, because after that conversation went down with my Discord members, Mikey, one of the people I was talking to, went back and checked the manga for this scene to get the exact specifics of what happened. And I guess I got screwed here, because that part that happened where Ace said he basically couldn't beat Smoker was filler in the anime. This does not actually happen in the manga. The only thing we really see is he shows up and basically says that Smoker will not be able to defeat him. So a complete 180 on what was actually said in that situation, which once I learned that, I'm like, okay, well, that changes everything. Ace is as powerful as he should be, basically. So I have a whole new perspective on it. I think Ace versus Cracker is an interesting topic, to say the least. So let's get right into it. So Cracker is the current weakest member of the Sweet Commanders. Snack was originally, but now he is gone. So he's not, I guess, a lowest Yonko commander. In a way, he is technically, but he wasn't until recently. So that's something to consider. He's kind of mid-tier, potentially. Ace would be also mid-tier, I guess. I would put him below all the big ones in Whitebeard's crew, as in Jozu, Marco, Vista, maybe Thatch when he was around. And even then, I don't know, maybe Ace does have Thatch. We really don't know anything about Thatch. But so, yes. So they're kind of around the same area. I might argue that Cracker's a little bit higher, since the Sweet Commanders seem to be a lot more concentrated than the Whitebeard Commanders, but that doesn't really matter. That really is just not all that relevant. Let's talk about their hockey first, and there's really not too much I can say, because again, I personally don't believe that Ace has observation hockey. I think that the evidence kind of speaks for itself. A lot of people disagree with me on that, and I do think that Cracker does have it, but that's technically never been confirmed, so I will just go with the assumption that neither of them have it, I guess. So then it comes down to their armament hockey, and we will not be discussing Conqueror's hockey because Ace has no control over it whatsoever, but well, we're talking about armament hockey. I'm going to say that I think Cracker's is probably stronger than Ace's, and my reasoning for that is Luffy was taken aback when he was first exposed to Cracker's armament hockey. He's like, wow, this guy has really strong armament hockey. It is stronger than mine. What does that really mean, though? Could that be the same thing for Ace? Well, that really depends on how strong Luffy's is, and I would say, based on that interaction he had, that Luffy's is probably about as strong as Dofi's armament hockey, since when they fought each other, he didn't have this kind of reaction. It was like, oh, yep, we're just both using hockey. So I would say that Luffy's probably about equal armament hockey-wise with Dofi. So then I think, okay, would Ace have stronger armament hockey than Dofi? I'm going to go with no, based on the fact that, again, Dofi has all 3 hockeys, actually, I guess, and Ace only has 1, so I would just imagine overall Dofi is going to be more proficient in either one of them. So that is my basis there. There's no real evidence. No one has actual written out power levels for their different skills, but that is the way I'm looking at it. I think Cracker's going to have an advantage in the armament hockey department, and then it comes to their Devil Fruits. And this one was really hard for me to think about. And again, I'm not really sure how this would play out because of the way the One Piece world is, with just different abilities doing things that don't really make sense realistically, and yeah, that kind of problem. So the thing is, Cracker has been shown to have one of the most overpowered devil fruits I've ever seen for some reason. It's just really ridiculous. All he has to do is clap and he can instantly make a biscuit soldier, which can solo basically anyone in the Straw Hat crew besides the Monster Trio. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I don't really know. Is that an exaggeration? Because Cracker had never been seen outside of his one biscuit soldier before, meaning he was only using one, and he was able to fight at a Yonko commander level. So it's pretty telling that these biscuit soldiers individually are extremely powerful, and he can just clap and boom, one appears. Clap, clap, clap. 3 biscuit soldiers just appeared. He didn't do anything. It's absolutely nuts. It makes no sense. Now, the thing is, Ace does kind of have a fruit that might be able to counter this. The thing is, Ace has a ridiculous amount of area of effect, so he could deal with them all at once. The complete opposite of Luffy, who had to deal with them individually and just completely got overwhelmed. He couldn't even really get through them in the first place, one at a time. So Luffy was countered in that situation. The question is, does Ace counter Cracker, or is it maybe the other way around? And where that is really answered is, would his fire be powerful enough to destroy one of these biscuit soldiers? Fire generally is around 2200 to 2700 degrees Fahrenheit if it's like red or yellow or whitish. The fire that we typically see, not like on a stove, that's usually blue, but what we typically see is around that range. That's Fahrenheit, by the way. I know I have a lot of non-US watchers. Freedom units, you can call them as well. It's 2200 to 2700, and that should easily be able to, I guess, burn a Cracker, right? Like a biscuit. But yeah, Cracker, because he's Cracker. It should be able to burn a biscuit. However, these things are not really biscuits. I mean, I guess they are, but they don't seem to have the properties of a biscuit, considering Luffy, using some of his more powerful attacks in Gear 4th, can't get through this thing. Unless it is wet, of course, and then he'll just eat it. So when it's in its normal form, I mean, it can withstand unbelievable amounts of damage. It's not just a normal bagel, right? It is a little bit different than that. And so my question is, would a regular attack from Ace, like just a Fire Fist, be more powerful overall than a Kong Gun from Luffy, perhaps? And I would imagine probably not, right? I wouldn't think that that would be enough. Wouldn't you agree that, Luffy's Kong Gun attack is probably stronger than just a Fire Fist? Now, of course, that is not Ace's only ability. What we're really probably going to want to get into is Flame Emperor. And the question is that really going to change anything? Does that change how much damage is done on an individual level to these things? Would a Flame Emperor be enough to destroy any of the biscuit soldiers? I am going to put my money on yes, it probably can. However, I don't particularly think that it would do any significant damage to Cracker, especially if he just hid in another one of his biscuit soldiers. That would reduce it even more. If he had an army of like 50 biscuit soldiers and Ace just Flame Emperors them, and I guess they're basically all just burned to a crisp. And again, I don't even know if that would really happen. I'm not sure if Flame Emperor would be enough to damage these things. I mean, Luffy's Kong guns aren't enough, so who knows? But assuming that is possible, I think Cracker just hide in one and then coat himself in armament hockey, and he would not take too much damage. I mean, consider, again, Luffy, King Kong, I bring this up all the time. Luffy, King Kong gunning Doffy was so powerful that Doffy's body moved at a speed that hit the ground in Dressrosa, and that impact completely upheavaled an entire city. And not just that, not just was that's something his body did, and his body didn't explode. All that happened was he got knocked out. He woke up a few hours later. So the amount of durability that fucking high-level One Piece characters have, especially if we're adding armament hockey, and armament hockey that is more powerful than Luffy's, is so extreme. I mean, even before Zoro had hockey, he was able to survive Kuma's ridiculous paw. So, come on. I mean, this is a real thing. I don't know if just a giant fireball would be enough to significantly damage Cracker. And then, okay, well, Ace could just keep doing it, right? But Cracker's just going to keep making all these biscuit soldiers hiding inside of one. It doesn't take him any. It just clap, clap, clap. It's over. Ace is actually having to use these abilities, and Cracker could be really pulling these things from all over the place. He could have them appear right behind Ace or something of that degree. So I think that basically it would just be a combination, or not a combination, just a sequence of Ace constantly using his most powerful abilities and Cracker just kind of really not doing too much, just keep sending out the biscuit soldiers, and I think it would eventually overwhelm Ace. So with that being said, I think that Cracker would probably take this one, even though it would be a very interesting battle. Kind of maybe annoying if you're a big Ace fan, because Cracker is a very annoying character, and his Devil Fruit really is. He doesn't do much, and he is able to accomplish quite a bit. So I think that this would be Cracker, but depending on how big of, like, how powerful Ace's fire actually would be against Cracker, I could actually see him winning. It's just it's not very clear how different types of attacks are in terms of power levels, right? If we're talking, if we're saying what I said about Luffy and Doffy and what his body's able to withstand, but Oda thinks that fire should be more effective just because it's fire, then maybe that is how it is. I don't really know, though. I'm just basing it on comparing things that would happen in the real world. So that is what I have on that one. I am going to give it to Cracker, but depending on those kinds of things, I could see this going for Ace. So that is my answer to that. Hopefully you guys aren't too upset with me. I don't think too many people would be, though. I mean, Cracker is pretty powerful. I don't think anyone really thinks that Ace just undisputably is going to take this dub. I think that's a fair assumption. If you guys would like to discuss this, make sure to leave a comment, and if it's interesting enough, I will make sure to reply. If you want to argue with me on this one, that's fine. But even better than that, make sure to check the description and hit the link for my Discord. I have a ton of people in there. We have a versus discussion channel where people talk about this kind of stuff all the time. That's where I get mainly my inspiration for doing these different kinds of topics, these versus battles, because it becomes a hot topic in my Discord for a while. Like Sabo versus Katakuri was a huge topic for a while. Everyone disagreed on it, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll give my 2 cents on it. Basically the same thing happened here, except I ignored it for a while until I finally gave Ace a little bit of credit. I think he could actually compete with Cracker. So make sure to join the Discord. We got tons of different series, tons of different anime, manga we talk about all the time. We have voice chat basically every night. It's really fun. We all hang out. I'm in voice chat quite a bit, so if you want to talk to me, that is an option for you for sure. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought if you are enjoying these new kinds of videos that I have been doing lately. With that all being said, I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, a great start to your week, and I'll talk to you guys soon.